All right, would I recommend this to a beginner? I would if you have a cutting torch and have a piece of railroad track already. If you don't, I would maybe consider some other options. If you don't have a cutting torch, it's going to take a while probably with some cutoff wheels. I'm not sure exactly how long it would take. I'll leave a link in the description to a guy who does it all with an angle grinder with cutoff wheels and grinding discs, and his looks way better than mine, by the way. I don't know how long that would take firsthand, but this didn't take long at all. Cutting all this extra material out only took me, I think, about an hour. Most of what took time was the grinding. That took me about the other 5 to 10 hours, though probably 3 or 4 of that is me filming the project, which I'm assuming you won't have to do. I left mine pretty rough in some areas. That's mainly because this is a completely utilitarian piece to get me by for now. It's lightweight, so I can move it in and out of the shop, which is what I need to do, because right now I can't forge indoors, and I don't want to leave a $2,000 anvil outside in the weather. It's held down with 4 4-inch lags. Those are just drilled into the blocks, which the block stand is just strapped and nailed together out of some 6x6. I've got some 4x4 attached to the bottom to give it a little bit more front and back stability because I was having a lot of wobbling in that way. And I've extended with a 4x6 out the front because my new anvil is a little bit longer than my previous one. The top is relatively flat and so are the sides, but I didn't really check them that often. They're flat enough for now. Really the only measuring that I did was I Googled how big pritchel holes usually are and how large the horn is relative to the rest, which it turns out is usually about 1/3 of the total length of your anvil. The pritchel hole is a 1/2 inch, but I got that wrong apparently, because most of them, at least on Anvil selling website, a company who makes anvils new, most of those had 5/8 holes. I don't care, I can always make it bigger if I need to. Besides, for now, again, this is just getting me by for the time being. I have magnets on different locations on the anvil to help with the ringing. I'm also going to put some silicone, and I'll show a before and after here of the sound with it mounted and fastened down and magnets and silicone, and without all of that. As for magnets, you can use pretty much any magnet, but most people use ferrite, which are the little black fridge magnets, basically. These are neodymium rare earth magnets, which is just what I had laying around. I wouldn't recommend them probably because one of them did already break, and they're coated in something which is probably not good for you to breathe in if you burn it off. I would probably recommend something like this. This is a welding magnet. They also make smaller versions of these, which are probably much better for fitting onto something like this. If you don't have a piece of railroad track anvil, I would probably go with something like an Amazon anvil. I'll leave a link in the description to Christ-Centered Ironworks video about an anvil that he bought on Amazon for, I think, $150-ish. Ultimately, don't get too caught up in what kind of tools you have and how quality they are. Get yourself some basic beginner tools so that you can get the job done, and then start learning as much as you can. Start practicing with what you have as much as you possibly can, because ultimately a master of blacksmithing can do 10 times the quality and quantity with this and the other crappy tools that I've made myself or bought at flea markets and refurbished than I could ever do with a power hammer, a $6,000 anvil, and every tool I could hope for. He has way more experience in the craft, and ultimately that is a way more valuable tool than any tool that you can buy with money. So whatever it is that you want to learn, whether it's blacksmithing or woodworking or something completely different, focus most of your time, money, energy on improving the most important tool, which is yourself.